If you look into why corporations may want to establish venture capital arms to deal with clean tech, the first finding is that the responding to global sustainability challenges and becoming green is seen increasingly as a strategic issue in corporations. And to be able to respond to those challenges and to do that swiftly, the organizations, corporations need more and more innovative and new ideas. The issue is that they cannot hire all the people, all the good talent. So they know that there are a lot of interesting talent lying outside. In addition to that, they also acknowledge that there needs to be an ecosystem that is developing so that the companies can safely and continually offer their own products and services. That a lot of supporting things needs to take in place. So there are a lot of novel ideas and agile structures out there with the innovative startups. And then there are a lot of unique capabilities in corporations that can actually really leverage those ideas swiftly and successfully. And when put all of these together, the corporate venture capital approach provides a good avenue because companies can both leverage those startups rather swiftly and at the same time can also generate a revenue stream. So if you look into the purpose of corporate VCs, first of all, the corporate VC arms are seen to be as a search engine that they go and look for ideas or technologies that have a strategic fit to the already identified strategy of the corporation. But they are also seen as a way of scouting for new ideas that can actually point at new development areas for the corporations. That's some companies call this the ears and eyes approach. And then, of course, there is the very typical VC approach of making money out of it. But the difference is that rather than having an either-or type of approach, in the corporate VCs, the understanding is more like if the first one, if the strategic fit is there, then the money issue is being taken on board. So what will an ideal VC target look like for a corporate VC? First, as we said, there needs to be a strategic match with the company's main strategies. The target company may be in different stages of its development. In my research, I heard that companies may choose to invest even in ideas at the laboratory scale or at universities, and some companies will only prefer to have other target companies that have already sales, and they may even go as far as defining the scale of these sales. More often than not, the investments are concentrated on science and technology-based companies and such, the clean technology name itself. No marketing gimmicks or no new business ideas, although in some cases people think that to actually be able to offer more solutions rather than products, these things can also be of interest. Joint investments are usually preferred. The companies would like to go into partnerships with other VCs or with other corporations for reasons that I'll come back to in a second. If you look into the picture, if you look into the issue of what kind of unique contributions the corporate VC arms may bring, a typical VC can be said to provide inputs to the company in the form of money, management support, and customer contacts to a certain extent. If you look into the corporate venture capital arms, they can do the same as a normal venture capital company may do, but in addition, they can provide a number of additional resources. This can be technology or market know-how. It can be complementary technologies that can be merged. It can be an infrastructure for the target companies to test or further develop. It can be a global network of customers and all relevant resources. And as one of the interviewees has put it, they can also provide a rubber stamp, as they are large corporations, for a target company to say that we are already having a collaboration with this big company usually opens a lot of other doors. If you look at the investment strategies, they are rather typical VC type of approaches. The companies will choose to invest 1 to 5 million euros. For that, they will try to get a minority share. They will ask for ordinary boarding rights, but they will not have to. They will not like to have too much of a control in the company. There is almost always there's an operational collaboration that goes hand in hand with the investment. And although the exit time frame is identified as 3 to 5 years, the companies can hang on to them for a longer time. And as been put by one of the interviewees, what is important is that the target company is sellable rather than to sell it at a certain point. Some additional issues is that some companies may also act as incubators, that they can take the interesting ideas and then they can incubate them until they can be brought to a stage so that they are VC presentable. And because of their technological knowledge or because of their market knowledge in a specific area, one can also say that they might be more swifter in making decisions of whether to invest or not. When it comes to syndication, getting into together with other partnerships, it is often preferred for the reasons. One of the main reasons is that they believe that this provides complementary input to the target company, whether the other investors are corporate investors or the traditional VCs. In both cases, it is thought that it brings some benefits. There's the obvious reason of risk diversification. An important finding is that the companies think that the more people are engaged in the company, the more the chances of for the target company to develop a robust customer base, which then translates into a robust supply chain in the future, because companies do not necessarily like their investment companies to depend on themselves only. And then, of course, the idea is that they always think there's a sparring partner issue, that they can have other VCs or other companies that they can discuss the prospects for the target company. When it comes to exit strategies, in my research, I did not come across to too many numbers of exits in the clean tech sector per se, but the strategies are more or less common, that the IPOs or trade sales are the preferred option. Acquisitions by the parent company do happen, but they are more an exception than the norm. And then I've been told that if that happens, the transaction will take place completely in the market conditions. No favors will be offered to the parent company. But of course, because of their history of engagement, they may have some other benefits. And whether the company is acquired or not seems to be dependent on at which stage the company is when the initial investment is made. Regarding the issue of intellectual property and the competition, it is a sensitive issue, but no real competitive concerns have been raised. There is the issue of course, if the target company may be a source of worry for losing proprietary information, or if it is the other way around, in certain cases, the parent company, the investing company, may think that they are too close to actually finalizing some sort of a project, and their R&D people may not want to have contamination of ideas by outside ideas. So in that case, the deals can be stopped. In cases if there's a licensing, or if the parent company is already using some of the input from the target investment, they may want to have exclusivity for the application that they are using, so that this application will not be available to other competitors. But many of these things are usually safeguarded by contractual agreement.